Well, I just want to say hi out there to whoever watches this. You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking and watching some videos that really kind of made me think a lot about, growing up, the way I am. I guess I still have trouble saying the word, and that's gay. It's, that, this fear is a product of, I guess, the 70s and 80s. I mean, this is 2015 now. I'm not getting any younger or any prettier, but that's not the point. The point is I'm still alive, and my experiences have not always been pleasant. And my story is, going to a private school for a greater portion of my life, where it was I'm not going to name the school, but it was the people who I went to school with know. It was a Christian Baptist school. Okay. And to them, homosexuality was unacceptable. In fact, it was shunned. It was unacceptable. It was embarrassing. Because I have to say, there are a lot of people, a lot of guys out there who will say, oh, I knew I was gay since I was, 9 or 10 years old, something like that. I didn't know what gay was, and that might have hurt me. Well, I think actually it probably did. I didn't come from a family that, I was sheltered. I was absolutely sheltered. And mainly because I guess, my mother was the one who was mainly around and that raised me. Mom stayed at home and Dad went out and earned the money. Okay. And I guess that is a throwback to like the 50s and 60s, I would think. Where the woman stayed home and raised the children, and the men went out and earned the money. And they came home and where's my dinner? And, but while I'm gonna say I still love my father, and I'm not looking to embarrass him, because he tried hard. I have to admit, he was the kind of man who didn't want to be bothered with kids. And that man frightened me back in those days. He scared the hell out of me. He really did. And I think that was on purpose, because he didn't want kids crawling all over him. These days it's way different, because now he's sick and he's getting old. He's in his late 60s. And so am I. I'm getting old too, but that's not the point. I love my folks. Nobody's perfect, I realize that. But I think that life would have been a great deal different if I would have been recognized for what I was early on. And I think, let's put it this way, mothers know. I mean, come on. Mothers know. Mothers always know what their child is because, from growing up around your mother, she's gonna pick up on things. And while growing up, I mean 12, 13 years old, things happened, and my grandmother passed, and I think when puberty hit, I think that's when everything swung into full, I don't know if we want to say full circle. It swung into action big time. I started finding myself attracted to other guys, and I didn't know how to deal with the problem. I didn't know how to deal with it, period. And I think, I was beginning to reveal myself to my fellow students, and they knew what I was back then. But the worst part of it was that I got summoned to the principal's office one day, which is really embarrassing because I was given a little questionnaire, not much unlike, in 16 Candles when, what's her name, got her little questionnaire about guys and sex and everything. Well, I answered the questions, but there was a question on that piece of paper that asked the question, "Are you gay?" Now, of course, I'm not going to sit there and, even then, I wasn't stupid enough to sit there and say, "Yeah, oh yeah, I am." But nevertheless, that piece of paper made its way back to the principal's office. So I was set up. I don't know who did it. And, 30 years later, it really doesn't make much of a difference because I'm not going to go after who actually tried to set me up or get me in trouble or whatever. But it's pretty embarrassing when you have to deal with an old woman who is a Bible thumper or has deep roots in Baptist background, and she outright said, I remember very well, she said, we don't tolerate homosexuality. It's a sin. Homosexuality doesn't exist at this school. I remember she looked me right in the eye and said that with all seriousness. So, as time went on a little bit, the AIDS thing became a big deal at that time, and I don't know how many other guys went through that phase, but even if you were young, 15, 16 years old, and gay at that time, I'm quite certain that there were a lot of people who were frightened to death just the same as I was. And I didn't have any social interaction with anybody, so I didn't have sex with anybody. And it was just, it added to the stigma and shame of being gay. But the worst episode for me was actually believing that I would have some privacy, but my mother was the kind that she would go through my things, and I had no privacy at all. So in her digging or looking for things, they found a notebook in which I'd written certain things about another boy at school, and they found it. And I remember one night I was sat down on the couch in the living room of our home, and I was asked point blank, you know, what is this? What is this about? You know, and they were very much in my face, and you know, what is this about, boy? You know, you queer for this boy? You like this boy or something? And I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So, I know that other kids have gone through this, and they're still going through it to this day. But I was forced to deny who I was. I had no support system at all. And, you know, it made me feel ashamed of who I was. And no kid should have to go through that anymore. No child should be thrown out of their house just because they're gay. You know, if you're going to be a parent, be a parent. Love your kids no matter what, because one day you're going to need them. That I can promise you. Because, baby, we all age. Things happen, and you need your children. So, it takes a lot for me to do this because, you know, I've lived with fear and guilt and shame for years, but I'm tired of seeing shit happen to people, to good people, good kids, good boys. And not because I'm attracted to them, but because they're good people, they have good souls, they're capable of being good, you know, whatever. Good productive people, good productive members of society. And they shouldn't be made to feel ashamed. And neither should you. I just want people to do what's right. You know, having to live with fear and anxiety for 20 years or 30 years is way too long, and nobody should have to feel ashamed of who they are. Fight for who you are. Fight for what you believe in. And don't ever let anybody tell you you're worth less than anything, because you're worth a lot. You know, everybody has worth and value. And you know what I say to the people who think otherwise? You want to put everybody down? You want to put us down? Fuck you. That's what I have to say. And if you don't like it, you can eat shit. Because I don't care. That's just too bad. You don't like it, eat shit. You know, it's enough. You know, there's enough hatred in the world, and there's enough pain in the world that, you know, we don't need any more. We don't need any more. Give these kids some peace. And for you guys who are a little bit older out there, you know, stop hiding. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Just because you happen to like the same thing that girls like, it's a big deal. So what? This has been going on for centuries. This didn't just begin with us. You know? So always fight for what you believe in. And stand up for yourself. And don't let anybody put you down. And if your parents don't like it, they can get fucked. Tell them that. So, anyway, that's my story. Thank you for watching. And God bless you all. And I mean that. God bless us all and keep us safe. Thanks.